I feel like AI down the road, if we took a temperature of where we're at now psychologically, uh, and as Gallup, all the research is just continuing. This is what's concerning is we're post-COVID, and you would think, okay, you understand. I mean, one thing I think was terrific about COVID was, I say terrific, one positive aspect of
Mm-hmm.
COVID was that, wrong word. A positive aspect of COVID was that it brought to the forefront that organizations around the world need to take in effect of people's emotions and how people feel, because that is important. You can't, people aren't going to be productive at work.
Talks about emotions, about how important it is in organization and how leadership should be effective, and so on and so on. When we go to the literature, 40 years ago, 50 years ago, we were already having tons of research about emotions at workplace. Kahn was writing about the work engagement and how to create it, right? Even when we go for the basics of theoretical aspects of leadership, we are having about that so much written. Maslach about the burnout, 1970, and we are having 2024.
Yep.
And we are now suddenly having people on the scene post-COVID. Oh my God, COVID discovered this emotional aspect. And that's my personal feeling. I said, oh my God, seriously?
Yeah.
We,
No,
we have it already, but now again, like every decade, we are rolling out the same subjects.
yep.
But the
Well,
statistics from Gallup, because I am also reading Gallup statistics, they are since
yep.
decades the same.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess you're right. This research with emotions in the workplace has not just come through COVID. I
Yeah.
think I think that because I think that this one event, this global event that saw so much death, so
Mm,
much trauma
yeah.
that people experienced, that really really, I don't even know that I can find the right word, politically or just humanly right word, but it just caused such a disconnect. And that's probably the disconnect of people, just, I think, from not just work, but from life. I think people just disconnecting from life, like, hands up, I can't handle this, it's too much. And I think that attitude is still prevalent. I don't think we've bounced back from that. I think that people, while it might not be to the degree that it was, I think people are there's still variations of that,
Mm-hmm.
just hands up, I don't care, like, I just think there's that attitude of maybe, I don't know what it is, maybe.
Would it be lack of hope? You write in your chapter about hope. When I was going through your story, I found it resonates with me. There is hope. I was more performing in my own life as a purpose. Uh, and can it be that people are giving up on hope? And this is why they are just followers of higher trends existing at that particular year, decade. How do you think about this?
I think you've hit the nail on the head, because hope is, wow, it is, people, I don't think people understand it's very powerful, but you have to put it into action. And so how do you put hope into action? And I think one of the ways, and I can speak from my own personal experience, is when we give ourselves a goal that provides us the hope. That lays the positiveness of going, oh, and you do highlight that in your book too. When we work towards a goal, or we hold a goal up as to, this is what I want, it provides that positive light, that shines continuously to say, and as you point out, it doesn't mean it's going to happen overnight,
Yes.
and it will happen, it will happen in the time that it's meant for us to happen. But it does provide that positiveness to say, okay, this makes me happy. This is what I want, and what, however long it takes me to get there, or what that looks like, it's okay, because I'm being fulfilled as I move towards that goal. And um and I know my own life, being uh uh getting out of that one environment, really not having a footing, uh getting into another environment, marrying at a very early age, um not furthering my education, kind of doing life backwards. uh at the age of 45, I said, oh, okay, I'm done with this chapter. What do I want? And my goal was to get a college education. Oh, I want to go back to college at the age of
Okay.
45. So, that was, and so, I went slowly but surely, AA, BA, and then a master's. And that was and raising three children. That was a long-term goal. But
Congratulations. That's
thank
amazing
you.
thing.
But that really provided a lot of light, and a lot of positiveness in my life, but it's what I wanted. And so I feel like sometimes, and as I'm focusing now where I'm at, I'm not really happy where I'm at. But when I focus on goals, I realize I have a lot of happiness in my life, because
Mm.
it's something I aspire to. So I think for one tool that we can provide, to kind of help shine a light on this for everyone, both younger generations and older generations, because this is a multi-generational workforce, is, put, it's silly, but there's some truth to it. Write down your goals. Write down your goals. Have little reminders. Um, I think that one thing that I do see in all this research from Gallup and other, experts in the field, is that, we all want autonomy. Everybody is seeking autonomy, and everybody wants the chance to, have a little room to be self-directed and to prove themselves. And if we could if we could just take, and I realize there's a lot of pressure, as a business owner, I do realize the pressures on people. If we just take a moment and sit back and go, okay, what will net us the biggest return? And it's people. It's making it about people. If we build a culture where people are thriving, all the other things it will be like a domino effect. Performance, engagement, positivity, relationships, just everything will be a domino effect if we just say what's going to give us the biggest return. And it is about making it about people and what we can do to build that culture that makes people thrive. And I think, allowing people to have a little autonomy.
Hope, dream, vision. Three
Yeah.
words that can be uh, used for the same meaning. However, I find in them different level of power. Uh,
Ah,
Hope for me will be something that it's quite risky because it can keep me talking. I hope I am able to do it. I hope I can do it. At the certain way of interpretation, it can weaken the action when we speak. I hope the things will go. I love what you said, to have a hope immediately connected with goals. So I have an action in front of me. Dreaming. I see quite a lot of people dreams. They are still dreaming. They are, I'm today 44, but we were 35, 30 years old, and people are dreaming. No, you can't dream when you are in that age. And to understand me correctly, not that dreaming is wrong. No, but word dream itself, it's more suitable for teenagers, for the kids. As an adult, I think we should use already the concept of having the vision.
I like that. Yes.
Where we keep ourselves accountable to align proper resources to go for our vision, to make it real, to make it reality, to make it happen. I hear so many people as well, like, oh, I wish to do it. Oh, I hope I can do it. 2 years later, they are still keeping talking. I wish to do it. Dream mind, right? I hope I can do it. So for me, it's also kind
Not a
of
mindset.
not developed rightly maturity. I stayed on this comfortable seat and prefer not to take the accountability for my own life. Though I agree with you completely, having goals, even if your life is okay, you are satisfied.
Yeah.
I think having at least 3 goals per year.
Yeah.
This is where the essence is coming within your life. And you can manage yourself better before the headache of routine will come, because that's also dangerous. We are happy, satisfied in our life. The routine starts to disturb. And then it's also leading us for not good decisions sometimes. Even if life is stable and okay, we should not forget to have goals on a regular basis that bring up some spice in life. Do you agree? What are your thoughts about this?
I totally agree. And I'm 56, and so it's funny because I do like that you focus down on mindsets, because that is part of emotional intelligence, is strengthening our mindset. The 6 seconds platform, it takes 6 seconds for for an emotion to register. And
Oh,
so it is, yeah, that's why it's called 6 seconds. So it is, having a mindset is a great analogy to say, okay, well, because a mindset, you have to kind of, it's kind of like a religion. You have to kind of hold steady to having that mindset, and if you want to progress. And I feel like life is our lives are journeys that we're constantly evolving on. And everyone's journey looks different. And of course we're going to stumble along the way, but the process of having that mindset is in knowing what we value in life. I think it still goes back to our values. So what values are feeding our mindset,
mm,
and so having something to hold on to that keeps us in a mindset. So like when presented, like we're, for, if we think of life as a journey and we're walking along the road, and we look at these things that come in our path as maybe rocks,
yeah.
and we go, oh, well, this is a rock, can I get, is it going to harm me? I think, for anyone at any age, of have values and live by them. And, you know, and I think the more that we we come back to hope, and it is about mindset, but then you can still peel the onion layers and you say, well, okay, mindset, but what builds that mindset? And it's our values. And every time we do something right that feels good to us, that aligns with our values, it builds up our psychological capital. It builds up our hope. It builds up our visions. It builds up our essence. It builds us as happy individuals that feel enabled, that, you know, I think that because it starts inside. And I know in my book, I was like, okay, well, you know, what's internal, what's external? And I thought, can people see hope? I was like, well, you feel hope. I feel like it's more internal. Can people see resilience? I feel like that's more internal. Can people see your efficacy? Again, maybe internal, but what is one thing that people can witness and see externally? And I feel like it's optimism.
Yeah.
And I think that I think when we feel all the other constructs, positiveness, um, positive constructs, we emit optimism. And I think that that is the key to building a people connected culture, is when you inject optimism into a culture, no matter what setting, no matter what environment, people witness that and they see that and they go, it just lifts the room up. It makes everyone feel good. I'm all the time. I love constantly just educating myself and being in discussions where, you know, you think bigger and you open your mind up to. And there was a Work Human webinar where people were talking about, well, how can we recognize, how do we recognize people? Because I think kind of thinking about all of this, and loneliness and how do we create hope, and how do we create a mindset where people are envisioning reaching towards a goal, and it is about recognition. And how do we, I think, how do we recognize ourselves is key. And that could be tied into what effects trauma has on us, and how we're dealing with that, as to how we are recognizing ourselves, whether we are or not doing a good job at that. And then I think how how others are doing a good job of recognizing us. And, you know, it's funny. I think about, you're going to love this analogy. I think about when you go to work as a new employee, and I'm kind of thinking about when you're younger. So, you know, I have a 26-year-old daughter who's in the workforce. And, you know, and I'm kind of thinking about her little journey. And, you know, when you start a new job, and I think this is probably the same for everyone. When you start a new job, first day at work, you know, there's so much excitement, you know, and I think about the atmosphere of just your employer, your coworkers, and everybody's excited about the new person. And I think, oh, what is this kind of like? It seems like it's like your first day of school. You know, you're nervous. You go into a classroom, or you go into work, and you all these people around you, and you're recognized. You're recognized, and there's warmth, and there's you know, optimism. Oh, is this going to be a new friend? Is this going to be a good worker?
Yeah.
You know, there's just all this optimism floating around on that first day. And then if you think about it, you think, okay, what's the long term here? And you go, where does it all go wrong? Because like in 1 week, like, you know, an employee or even if you were a student can come home and be in tears. Ah, that's so terrible. I don't like it. And it's like, what happens from the first day of showing up and everybody emitting optimism to like either a week later or 2 weeks later, and the negativity seeps in.
Yeah.
what happens? What
Yeah.
happens?
We spoke about the organizational impact on people's life.
Mhm.
And for me, these are kind of connection of two worlds. The sociological and organizational. The sociology, we know, is shaping the environment. And as young people, we are living in specific environments where we don't have a chance for vote, right? The parents are deciding in which sandbox we are playing today, with which kids we will be playing, to what school we will be going. And every single place they take us through are having different type of people, characters, and they will have an impact on us, and even how the brain is shaping the relation. I want to also talk about that later, about the family connection. And then, so sociology is shaping our first stage of
Mhm.
mindset, right? So I call it, we are ending up with very nicely squared vertical style of thinking. Then we go to work. No one is teaching us. In the school, at home, no one is talking about of balancing our emotions, how we should perceive the world, how we should even align the expectations, what's the value of work, and so on. So, like kids, we are going for this first day of work, and it doesn't matter if it is a first work or fifth work, we are still having this childish attitude in us. What does it mean? We are not mature yet? Or it doesn't mean we are not aligning reality with our existence and purpose in life. Because theoretically, I would expect, I am an adult person, I'm coming to work, and I'm not focusing on the emotional aspect at work because it's a professional environment. I'm not there. I didn't sign up the contract to be there so I can have more friends. I took that position as a document controller, as a receptionist, as a manager, to play a specific role with the job duties. So we are missing that, I think, element of growth, of self-development. And we are still connected somehow to our child part rather than being adult.
I
That's
think
why we are
there,
more driven into, we are driven by emotions rather than rational approach towards the situation.
I agree. I agree to the extent that I feel like there is um in with anything, we
Mm,
have to take emotions in context.
yeah.
And I'll share a story with you, but I want to tell you this real quick. Um uh it is it is, oh, lost my train of thought for a minute. All right, I'm gonna share this story with you. I was thinking something and it just totally went out of my head. Um, oh, yes, okay. Okay, circle back. Sociology, loved it. I took a couple of courses in my undergrad, and I had this professor who was, I'm going to say, out of the box thinking. And I am a huge component of out of the box thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I don't like to be defined as check the box, or I don't like anyone to, like you said, square. I don't like anyone to try to put me into a certain
Yeah.
box and define something. And this professor, oh my God, I would just like cringe when I would get he would give us a project. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know how I could do this. But one of the things that we learned about, which was kind of like what I extracted from what you were just saying just now, was social norms. We grow up and we can't do our own thinking. Society and the environment tells us, what's right, what's, social norms. And we did so much research on, and it's really kind of sad the way we're pushed into some of this, some of this thinking, even at birth, like colors, what's deemed as, female colors and what's deemed as male colors. Oh, pink is the girl color and brown is a male color. And there was even, there's a lot of research behind this. That how marketers, big department stores, set up their aisles, and what toys and the color of toys, as to, like, when you go down, if you're in, I don't know what's in your country, but in our country we have like Walmart and Target and these big, kind of all around, uh, big like stores, and you go down the toy aisle and you see, you're down the girl toy aisle and you see all the colors, like the Barbie dolls, pink, and then just all the dolls, and there are kind of variations of pink, and it's all, there is a marketing, kind of, mentality around how we're groomed to think about things. So that just kind of got me thinking about this. And so this project, I really got a kick out of this. It was this bizarre project that he wanted us to defy a social norm. He wanted us to, actually go out in the field, and take, kind of take a reaction as we were defying a social norm, to record the public's reaction. And I was like, oh my God, what can I don't know what to do. Like, and then it was so funny because I was like, well, am I going to get arrested? Like, I don't know what you're asking me to do. And it came to me, and I was like, oh, I know exactly what I'm going to do. So at the time I was still married, and I enlisted my ex-husband to go along on this little field trip. And we literally, and this was like, over 10 years ago. We went to a cigar shop, and all males, no females in there. And I sat down and I smoked a cigar, and it just, I don't think any of the males were comfortable that I was in the cigar shop smoking a cigar. I was invading their little social hour. So we left, and I thought, okay, this isn't enough. This isn't enough reaction. Like, that was okay. That was a reaction a little bit, but that wasn't enough of a reaction. So then we went out to eat, and I thought, oh, I know exactly what I'm going to do. You know how ladies, or men are conditioned to, it's politeness and in class to pull out the chair for a man's condition, to pull the chair out for the lady to sit down.
Gentlemen, being gentlemen, which we are missing these times so much.
Well, I've never seen a lady do that for a man. So so I thought, oh, I'm going to do that for my husband. And so we were at the bar. So, everyone was looking at us. We were, at the bar, and all the dining tables were around us. And my husband's much larger than I am. And so we go up to the bar, and I mean, I had to tell you, I was a little, like, I was trying not to laugh. I was nervous about it. I was like, oh my God, because these are people that we know in the community.
Yeah.
It's like, they're going to think I'm bizarre. And I went and just didn't say anything. And I pulled the chair out for him to sit. And I turned around and kind of surveyed the room. And I think everybody's mouths were just opened. The reaction I got was priceless. I wish I had filmed it, because the reaction was priceless. So that's exactly what I think the professor wanted, is for us to break a social norm and see what that looked like. And so I wrote a paper about it, and it kind of just shows how we are conditioned. We are conditioned at an early age to, to say this is, and I think kind of just maybe projecting that to where we are now, emotionally, and how we express ourselves. how we look at what is the right way to express ourselves, or what's the way that we want to be judged to express ourselves. I think that that's the big conflict with everyone right now, and why people are lonely or depressed is because maybe they don't feel they are being authentic to themselves.